fluoridation of public water supplies is doing to the people of the United States right now. We're chronically poisoning over 150 million Americans by means of fluoridation of public water supplies. 25 million of them have been so badly poisoned that you can see white chalky areas in their teeth. This is the first symptom of fluoride poisoning, called dental fluorosis. A large number of the 40 million arthritics in this country are suffering from arthritis as a result of fluoride in the water supply. We have about 2 million people who are allergic or experience hypersensitive reactions to fluoride. We have about 35,000, an estimated 35,000 deaths a year, that's 100 deaths a day, due to fluoridation of public water supplies. And over 10,000 of those 35,000 are due to the effect of fluoride in inducing cancer and cancer death. That's an overall viewpoint. I won't be able to go into the biochemistry of all of this, but since my subject is fluoridation and cancer, I'll go into that. First of all, how many people here know what an enzyme is? Anybody? Somebody give me an answer. What is an enzyme? It's a protein. What else? It's a catalyst. What it does is it facilitates reactions in our body that make life possible. In other words, in our body we can burn sugar, which normally would require hundreds and hundreds of degrees to burn. We can burn it at 98.6 degrees centigrade. It's responsible, these enzymes are responsible for the breakdown of foods, release of calories and energy, the buildup of cell components, the breakdown of older cell components, responsible for rejuvenation, responsible for repair of our body, responsible for excretion of waste products from our body. Virtually everything in our body is under physiological control of these very important proteins called enzymes. Now, fluoride inhibits at 1 part per million. Fluoride inhibits over 10 that we know of, and probably, we're talking about the amount that's used to fluoridate public water supplies, an estimated 100 or more other enzymes. One of the most important enzymes with regard to cancer is an enzyme system called the DNA repair enzyme system. This enzyme system exists in the nucleus, or the nuclei, of every one of the cells in our body, with the exception of red blood cells, which don't have a nucleus. But every cell that has a nucleus in our body and has genetic material has a DNA repair enzyme system. 1 part per million fluoride, which is the amount they add to public water supplies, inhibits this enzyme system by 50%. Now, the importance of this is that if we're taking a walk out in the sun and ultraviolet light falls on our skin, if we take something in our diet that happens to cause chromosomal damage or might cause cancer, we have the ability within each one of our cells to repair the damage done, and that ability is reduced by 50% just by drinking fluoridated water. Now, in addition to that, I would say there are about close to 40 papers showing that fluoride at levels down to and including the amount used to fluoridate public water supplies causes genetic damage. The effects of genetic damage can be varied. The cell can die, which is probably the best thing that could happen, because you no longer have that cell to deal with. It's not going to become a cancer cell. It's not going to put bad things into the person's body. Or it can make that cell become toxic, which means that by means of damaging one of the regulatory sites on that genetic material, enzymes will be produced that will crank out substances which are toxic to the body, leading to degenerative diseases. And this is what happens in the case of dental fluorosis and arthritis as a result of fluoride's effect. What also can happen if this genetic damage occurs in a sperm cell or an egg cell, it can lead to birth defects. And the horrible thing about these birth defects is they will be carried on from generation to generation to generation. These pieces of damage that fluoride does to our genetics become permanent. And as long as that cell line continues, that flaw will continue for generation upon generation, even if none of the future generations even drink fluoridated water. And then finally, if fluoride causes damage at the part of the genetic material which controls